Your Honor, I can prove it. The courtroom went quiet. The judge didn't look surprised. He didn't look curious. He smiled. Not the kind that means interesting. The kind that means you never stood a chance. He reached for the file on his bench like a man already bored with the ending. That's when she knew. She wasn't just fighting a lawsuit. She was fighting a system that had already decided who was telling the truth and who wasn't. She had spent 17 years building a company from nothing. And in the next 10 minutes, she was about to lose all of it. Unless the truth did something it almost never does in court. Change the mind of a judge who had already chosen a side. Her name was Lillian Cross. And she hadn't slept through the night in 4 months. Not since the letter arrived. She'd rehearsed this moment for weeks. Every word. Every place she'd look when her voice started to shake. But she hadn't prepared for that look. The one that said, "You poor, naive woman." The courtroom was smaller than she'd imagined. Warmer. The kind of warm that made her blouse stick to her. Across the aisle, he sat perfectly still. Expensive suit, neutral expression. Hands folded like a man in prayer. Like he hadn't done a thing wrong. The judge flipped open the folder. His eyes moved left to right. Once. Twice. Then he looked up at her. And for the first time in 6 months, she felt something shift beneath her feet. That was the moment everything quietly began to take an unexpected turn. This is a golden heart story for anyone who's ever walked into a room and realized they were the only one who didn't know the rules. Before we continue, I want to ask you something. Tell me in the comments, have you ever had to fight for the truth when no one believed you? Because what happens next, it's not what she expected. And it's not what he expected either. Lillian Cross hadn't slept through the nights, and she'd learned that the company she'd spent 17 years building brick by brick, contract by contract, late night by late night, was about to be taken from her. By a man she'd never met. A man whose lawyers used words like fiduciary negligence and breach of shareholder agreement, as if they were launching grenades. She was 62. She had cropped silver hair she'd stopped dyeing 3 years ago. She wore reading glasses on a chain because she refused to keep losing them in her purse. And she was tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. The kind that lives in your bones. But she wasn't broken. Not yet. He had a name too. Holden Vance. 67. Federal judge for the Southern District. 23 years on the bench. He'd presided over fraud cases, embezzlement rings, corporate warfare that made headlines. He was known for 3 things: sharp questions, short patience, and a reputation for seeing through bullshit before the lawyer finished their opening statement. His colleagues respected him. His clerks feared him. His ex-wife, well, that was a different story. He lived alone now. A townhouse in Georgetown with too many rooms and not enough noise. He liked order, precision, cases that made sense. He did not like emotional appeals. And he especially did not like people who wasted his time. Lillian's lawyer had warned her. Judge Vance doesn't do sentiment. Stick to the facts, don't cry. Don't ramble, and for God's sake, don't try to win him over with a sob story. She'd nodded. But when she walked into that courtroom and saw him sitting there, gray at the temples, reading glasses perched low on his nose, fingers drumming once against the wood, something about him felt familiar. Not his face. His energy. The same exhaustion she carried. The same look of someone who'd spent decades holding things together and was just now realizing how much it cost. She took the stand. Stated her name. Spelled it. Her voice was steady. She was proud of that. Then her lawyer asked the first question. "Miss Cross, can you explain to the court how you came to lose majority control of Crossbridge Consulting?" And she did. She explained the investment deal. The restructuring, the signatures she'd trusted, the board meetings she hadn't been invited to. The lawyer on the other side objected twice. Holden overruled him both times. But he wasn't looking at her like she mattered. He was looking at her like she was expected. Another woman, another small business, another preventable disaster. And when she said, voice just barely shaking, "Your Honor, I can prove it," that's when he smirked. It wasn't much. It wasn't cruel. It was worse. It was dismissive. The kind of smile that said, "Sure you can, sweetheart." Her stomach dropped. But she didn't flinch. "I have documentation," she continued. "Correspondence, meeting notes, a recording." The opposing counsel stood. "Objection. Your Honor, we were not made aware." Overruled. Holden's voice was flat. "I'll allow it." He held out his hand. Her lawyer passed the folder forward. Holden opened it. The courtroom went silent. Lillian's heartbeat filled her ears. She watched his eyes move across the first page. Then the second. His jaw tightened. Just barely. But she saw it. He flipped to the third page. Then the fourth. His fingers slowed. He removed his glasses, pinched the bridge of his nose, put them back on. Read again. The lawyer across the aisle shifted in his seat. Holden looked up. Not at him. At Lillian. And this time, there was no smirk. "Miss Cross," he said quietly, "how long have you had this?" "Since the beginning, Your Honor." "And your prior counsel didn't submit it?" "No, sir." "Why not?" She hesitated. "He said it wouldn't matter, that no one would believe me anyway." The room inhaled. Holden's expression didn't change. But something behind his eyes did. He closed the folder. "We'll recess for 1 hour," he said. "When we return, I'll have questions, real ones." He stood. Everyone stood. And as he exited through the side door, Lillian felt her knees go weak. Her lawyer grabbed her elbow. "What the hell was in that file?" She shook her head. "The truth," she whispered. But even she didn't know yet what that was going to cost. The recess lasted 90 minutes. Not 1 hour. 90. Lillian sat in the hallway on a wooden bench, hands folded in her lap, staring at nothing. Her lawyer paced. The other side whispered in a corner like vultures over a contract. And then the bailiff opened the door. "All rise." Holden walked in differently this time. Slower. His robe looked heavier. He didn't sit right away. He stood at the bench. One hand on the gavel, eyes somewhere in the middle distance. Then he sat. Miss Cross approached the bench. Her lawyer started to stand. "Alone," Holden added. Her stomach flipped. She walked forward. Her shoes echoed. When she reached the bench, he leaned forward slightly. His voice was low, careful. "The men in that file," he said. "The signatures, the board members." "Yes, Your Honor." "One of them is a sitting congressman." She nodded. "Two of them have federal contracts." "Yes." He exhaled through his nose. "You understand what you're accusing them of?" "I'm not accusing anyone, Your Honor. I'm showing you what happened." His eyes locked on hers. "Do you know who I am, Miss Cross?" She blinked. "You're Judge Vance." "Before that." Her breath caught. "I was a corporate attorney," he said quietly. 20 years. I represented firms like the one trying to take yours." The floor tilted. "I wrote contracts like the one you signed." He continued. "I found the loopholes. I made them airtight. I won." She couldn't speak. "And then I got tired of winning," he said. Silence. "So when I look at this file, Miss Cross, I don't just see fraud. I see my own fingerprints. Different case, same playbook." Her throat tightened. "I'm recusing myself," he said. "No. I have to. You're the only one who'll understand it." "Exactly." His voice was firm. which is why I can't be the one to rule on it. Her eyes stung. But, he said slowly, I can make a referral. To someone I trust. Someone who won't be intimidated. He handed the folder back to her. You're going to win this, Miss Cross, but not in my courtroom. She took the folder. Her hands were shaking. Thank you, she whispered. He nodded once. And as she turned to leave, he said one more thing. I'm sorry. She stopped. For what? For every woman like you I didn't listen to when I was on the other side. 3 weeks later Lillian got a call. And no number. She almost didn't answer. Miss Cross? The voice was familiar. This is Holden Vance. Her chest tightened. I know I'm not supposed to contact you directly, he said. But I wanted to make sure the referral went through. That you're being taken care of. Yes, thank you. Silence. Good. More silence. Judge Vance. Holden. She blinked. Holden, why did you really call? He let out a breath. Because I haven't stopped thinking about your case. You recused yourself. I know. So why? Because I spent 30 years not thinking about cases like yours. And I don't want to do that anymore. Something in her chest cracked open. Can I buy you a coffee? He asked. She almost laughed. Is that allowed? Probably not. But I'm 67 and tired of caring what's allowed. They met at a cafe in DuPont Circle. He was already there when she arrived. White Oxford shirt, no tie, reading a paperback with a cracked spine. She sat down across from him. Thank you for coming, he said. I wasn't sure I should. Neither was I. They ordered coffee. For the first 10 minutes, they didn't talk about the case. They talked about weather, traffic, the price of parking. Small things. Safe things. And then he said, I looked you up. She raised an eyebrow. You started Crossbridge in your garage. Basement, actually. 17 employees now. 16. I had to let someone go last month. He nodded. I'm sorry. It's not your fault. No. But I know what it costs. She studied him. You really did walk away, didn't you? From corporate law? Yes. Why? He looked down at his coffee. Because I won a case I shouldn't have won. And a woman lost her pension because of it. She was 71. Lillian's throat tightened. I saw her in the hallway after the verdict. He continued. She didn't yell. Didn't cry. She just looked at me and said, I hope you sleep well. Do you? No. They talked for 2 hours. About work. About mistakes. About the version of themselves they'd left behind. He told her about his ex-wife. A marriage that had died quietly. Like a plant no one remembered to water. She told him about her son. How proud he'd been when she started the business. How ashamed she felt now that it was falling apart. It's not falling apart, Holden said. It feels like it. It's being stolen. That's different. She looked at him. You're going to win, he said again. You sound sure. I am. Why? Because you didn't give up, and that matters more than people think. When they left, he walked her to her car. Can I ask you something? She said. Of course. Why did you really call me? He smiled, sad. Because I wanted to know if I was wrong about you. And? I wasn't. She tilted her head. What does that mean? It means you reminded me of something I forgot. What? That some people are worth the fight. Her breath caught. He stepped back. Good luck, Lillian. Thank you, Holden. And as she drove away, she realized something. For the first time in months, she didn't feel alone. But 2 days later, everything changed. The article came out on a Tuesday. Federal judge under ethics review for contact with active plaintiff. Lillian's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Her lawyer, her accountant, a reporter from the Post. She didn't answer any of them. She just read the article over and over. Sources say Judge Holden Vance met privately with Miss Lillian Cross, a plaintiff in a case he recently recused himself from. The meeting raises questions about judicial impartiality and potential ethics violations. Her stomach turned. She called him. He didn't answer. She called again. Voicemail. 3 days later, she got a letter. Handwritten. Lillian, I'm sorry. I should have known better. I've been asked to step away from the bench pending an internal review. I don't know how long it will take. Please don't let this hurt your case. You deserve to win. And you will. I wish things were different. H. She read it 5 times. Then she crumpled it in her fist. And for the first time in months, she let herself cry. Her new judge was sharp, fair, exactly what she needed. The case moved forward. Evidence was submitted. Testimonies were heard. And 6 weeks later the ruling came down in favor of Lillian Cross. She won. She got her company back. She got her reputation back. She got everything she fought for. But when she walked out of that courtroom, the only person she wanted to tell wasn't there. Holden sat in his townhouse, staring at the letter on his desk. Official, formal, cold. Your conduct, while not malicious, demonstrated a lapse in judgment unbefitting your position. Effective immediately, you are removed from active case rotation pending further review. He'd known it was coming. He'd still hoped it wouldn't. He poured himself a scotch. Didn't drink it. Just held the glass and watched the light move through it. His phone buzzed. A text. From a number he didn't recognize. I won. His chest tightened. He typed back. I know, congratulations. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. I couldn't have done it without you. He closed his eyes. Yes, you could have. Maybe. But I didn't want to. He stared at the screen. Then he typed something he'd been thinking for weeks. I'm sorry I made things harder for you. Her response came fast. You didn't. You made me believe I deserved to win. His throat burned. He set the phone down. Picked it back up. Typed for words. Can I see you? If this story reminds you of someone you lost or almost lost, share it with them. They met at the same cafe. Same table. Same coffee. But everything felt different now. Holden looked older. Tired in a way that wasn't just physical. Lillian looked lighter, still cautious, but no longer afraid. You didn't have to come, he said. I wanted to. He nodded. I heard about the review, she said carefully. It's fine. Is it? He smiled, just a little. No. She reached across the table, rested her hand on his. I'm sorry, she said. Don't be. I made the choice. So did I. He looked at her. I called you, she said. I met you. I let you in, and I don't regret it. Lillian. I don't, she said firmly. Because you gave me something no one else did. What? You saw me. Not the case. Not the mess me. His eyes glistened. And I want you to know, she continued, that whatever happens next for you, for me, I'm grateful. For the coffee. For the conversation. For the way you looked at me in that courtroom and didn't see someone small. He turned his hand over. Held hers. I didn't lose anything that mattered, he said quietly. What do you mean? I lost a job I was already tired of. But I found something I didn't know I was looking for. What? A reason to care again. Her breath itched. I don't know what comes next. He said, I don't know if I'll get my job back. I don't know if this he gestured between them is even allowed. I don't care, she said. He smiled. Real this time. Neither do I. 6 months later, Holden took a new position. Not as a judge. as a consultant for small businesses facing corporate fraud. His first client? A 62-year-old woman who'd built something from nothing and refused to let anyone take it away. They worked together. They had coffee. They argued about contracts and deadlines and whether or not she was being too stubborn. She was. And one night, after a particularly long day, she looked at him across a table covered in paperwork and said, "You know what? What? I'm glad you opened that file." He smiled. "So am I. Thank you for spending this time with Golden Heart Stories. If this story moved you, please like and subscribe. Your support helps us keep telling stories that matter. And before you go, tell me what part of this story stayed with you the most. Was it the moment in the courtroom? The letter? The choice they both made? Leave a comment below. I read everyone. And remember, it's never too late to fight for what's yours, or to let someone see you for who you really are.